Hey there, guys. How you all doing today? Hope everybody is ready for the weekend. I know I am. It's all about college football this weekend. That's all I'm going to be doing, watching college football and being inside because it's going to rain. But today I got a video for you, non-food, and I'm going to try to kind of keep it kind of brief because the purpose of this video is not to teach, not to be like, do this like I do. I'm kind of turning you on to something that I'm practicing now. And I think it's beneficial, but you need to do your due diligence. You need to make sure you're healthy enough to do this. You need to just go through all that kind of stuff. And I'm going to drop a playlist down in the description below of some videos that'll explain this stuff, explain some of the biomechanics of it and stuff a lot better than I can. So don't try any of this stuff without watching somebody else that's actually qualified to do this. But one of the things about aging, being sick for 2 weeks or more kind of got me off key, but I was starting to work on this kind of stuff before I got sick. I am 59 years old, and I'm going to tell you, all my fitness goals are very, very simple. I just want to be able to move and feel as good as I can as long as possible. I don't want to live to 100 and be decrepit, for 10 or 15 years. And we're laying the groundwork actually a lot of times. And listen, this is for every age, because when you start laying that groundwork, the younger you start laying that groundwork, actually the better. In fact, I saw a Dick Van Dyke meme. He's like 97 or something, and he said something like in his 30s he exercised to look good, in his 50s he exercised. I forget what it is. Go look up Dick Van Dyke exercise meme. But basically the point of it was like each decade he exercised for a different reason. And once he got up into his 70s and 80s, he said, in my 70s, or maybe it was his 80s, I exercised so I would be able to walk and I would be mobile. And that's what it's all about, is mobility. Now, what I'm doing right now is something that I'm adding to my practice as well. Just sitting on the floor. We don't get down low. Chairs are an abnormal thing that we've just become accustomed to in the West. Other cultures do not sit in chairs all the time, and they spend time down here, and you keep mobile when you get down on the floor more often. Now, before anybody says it, I know some people can't do that, so I'm not a miracle worker. If you can't do it, maybe there's things you can do to work up to it. But sitting on the floor for 20 to 30 minutes a day, I'm starting to do, I'm not going to show that one here, but like hip mobility exercises and opening up the hips. The couch stretch is really good for that. But another one too that I used to practice a lot is just deep squats. And I'm not talking about when you're working out. I'm talking about just hanging out, in deep squats. That's a big marker of health right there, being able to be in a deep squat. Now, some people, I kind of have fairly naturally open hips, but they've gotten so much tighter. Like when I did yoga, I used to do this quite often. So I can get my heels down. You might not be able to get your heels down in the beginning. And you can hang out here, or you can kind of just go up and down. Get in and out of this position. Now, I got some notes from one of the videos that's in that playlist below. And actually I've followed her off and on for years because her channel's called Zuska Light. And she has some really good stuff. If you really go in and look at her workouts and the stuff that she shares on YouTube, and I think she's got a website where she has probably, countless workouts that you can actually follow there. But the deep squat is a normal human resting position. People in India, people in other places, they do this. They'll hang out and sit around and, they'll sit and drink tea. They'll do things. They'll sit and talk to people in that. I'm just looking at my notes here. Many countries, not in the West, do this in everyday life. And something else too, age should not prevent you from getting in and out of this position. Now, if you're a little bit older, I know I tend to do that sometimes push things off on age. Now, I'm not saying everybody can do this. What I'm saying is age shouldn't be the factor if you can do this. Now, if you've already gotten to the point, if you have any biomechanical problems like knee issues, back issues, hip issues, you need, once again, to do your due diligence and see if you can do these, if you can work towards doing these or what. But The age is not an excuse. It's not an excuse. It's just because we get old because we don't get into these positions. We don't move our bodies in certain ways. So that's just something to think about, something I'm working on. Because when you do this, when you stop doing this, the muscles, the tendons, the ligaments, they all lose elasticity. So if you practice doing that, these are easy little things too. Sit down on the floor. Maybe that's just a start for you. Just sit down on the floor, 20 or 30 minutes every day. If you can't do 20 or 30 minutes, sit down on the floor for 10 minutes. Sit down on the floor for 10 minutes one time, 10 minutes another time. But things like this, everybody, I'm kind of aware of this because I started going to the gym about 6 or 8 weeks ago, went about 3 weeks, then I was side railed by being sick, and I've been going back. So I kind of watch what other people are doing, and there's a lot of people that they're doing, they're working out, and it's always good just to be moving your body, but it's all about just pressing, just like, lifting more weight, or just repetitively doing more cardio and aerobics type activities, when we need to have our bodies loose and mobile if we're going to move forward. And like I say, at 59 years old, all I want to do is, like I say, be able to feel good, move, and do the things I want for the rest of my life. Now, as far as certain things go, yes, I do. Of course, I do some cardio training, enough just to keep my, heart and lungs strong. I do recommend doing strength training, but up to a certain point. After a certain point, it kind of becomes a sport, because you don't necessarily need to lift 300 or 400 pounds, but there's nothing wrong with that either. There's I know some people that can lift massive amounts of weight that also do other types of training. So I'm not trying to talk you out of doing any kind of training you're doing. I'm just saying, doing things like this, making yourself looser, have more mobility, will let you do some of those other things, your sports, your workouts, and other activities without injury and without pain. And that's what the thing is because I'm a baby. I've figured out in life, I haven't been sick a lot, haven't gotten hurt a lot, and I am a big baby when it comes to pain. So if there's anything I can do to avoid pain when I start getting older, I'm going to do it. So anyhow, once again, go look at this playlist below. You might want to mark and save this playlist, because I'm going to constantly be adding to it. And besides the one video, the anti-aging video, that's the main one I want you to look at on the squatting. But there's some other good stuff in there. Like there's one guy in there that's doing almost like some animalistic movements, like that are just the natural movement of our body, like we used to move before we had gyms and all that kind of thing. So anyhow, excuse me. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you'll go check some of this stuff out. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you soon. Peace.